Hello, fabulous person. Beate Chelette here, the Growth Architect. Welcome back to the Business Growth Architect Show, where we bring you cutting-edge business strategies from some of the world's most successful entrepreneurs, business transformation experts, and visionaries who want to help you to scale your impact. Look for one tangible strategy that you can take back and implement right away. Hello and welcome. This is Beate Chelette, the Growth Architect. Welcome to another episode to the Business Growth Architect Show. Today we're going to mix it up a little bit, and today I am not having a guest, but today I am actually sharing a message. This is, for me to you, a heartfelt and sincere thank you for being here and for listening to the show, for sharing it with your friends, and helping us to get the message out that strategy is an important and vital and relatively easy part of a business to master if you only knew what the different strategies were and you could implement them accordingly. So from us to you, we appreciate you. We couldn't do this without you, our listener, our audience, and we always appreciate your feedback. If you enjoy the show, please help us to get the message out to more people. Please leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast and share it with one other person who needs to hear the message about how to grow a business strategically. Today, I want to share with you a little bit more about what this show is all about, why we do what we do, and give you some insights into how to create a signature growth system. The idea of growth architecture was born because I looked at the way of how a house is built. And when you build a house, you find the property, you build the foundation, you pour the cement, and then you build the house, but it goes in a very specific order. However, all the houses are decorated differently. Some have blue walls, green walls, white walls. So you want to think about your business very much like this, that you want a solid blueprint, which is the strategy, and then you get to furnish and design the house any way you want. That is then where you bring in the systems, and that's when you turn on your client attraction machine. In our world, or in the way we look at business building, my team and I, is that we look at this from the idea of a triangle. And on this triangle, there are 3 pieces. One is the system, one is the strategy, and one is the authority. We always start with a strategy first. You want to get very clear where it is that you're going. And what is so difficult about the narrowing it down of the direction that you are going is because a lot of us have never thought about it or have never even been asked. So I'm going to ask you now, what is the clarity of the vision that you want to achieve in your business? Because this comes always first. Are you achieving a laptop lifestyle, a brick-and-mortar business? Do you want to have $1 million business? Do you want to have $5 million business? Do you want to have an exit? What exactly is it that you're trying to achieve? Number 2, you need to have a system in place, ideally a signature growth system, because the system identifies your unique method, value proposition, and it helps you to tell people why they need to work with you, what makes you so special, what makes you so unique, and why your competitors are not even worth mentioning because they are just coaches or consultants or so-called experts, but they don't really have anything that's proprietary to them. The third piece is the authority building. And authority building in my world, in our world, is not celebrity status, which is very difficult to achieve. But in our world, authority is industry expert status. And we do this for one and one reason only, and that is to achieve a client attraction so that we consistently attract clients to come into our pipeline. However you do that, and then once they're in our pipeline, then we convert them, and then we service them, and we send them in our client journey, which is our signature growth system. It's our client transformation journey that is all geared toward achieving a particular goal. So I hope this kind of makes sense now in how we approach business. It's very methodical, very logical, very strategic, very straightforward, and you get to design it any way you want. What I am finding, though, is that in the internet marketing space, what people just don't tell you is that the pieces that you see are generally pieces that belong somewhere in the strategy, the system, or the authority, but are not by itself an entire system. They are a piece of it. So that leaves you constantly looking for another piece and another piece and another piece and another piece, because you'll never have the whole thing. So we developed a process called the signature growth system, which literally is the blueprint for the house. And then we'll take all the pieces in that you already have, all the programs, all the lead generation, whether that's speaking, networking, podcasting, hosting, guesting, LinkedIn, Instagram, paid ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, YouTube, whatever that might be. And we plug all these pieces in, and then we connect them so that you have a signature system. So let's talk about what is a system. A system is your knowledge and experience organized and packaged into a step-by-step client transformation journey. The clients that we work with, we have had unbelievable success with this particular program alone. People walk out, they close $50,000 deals literally within days after they leave because they're finally able to articulate it. We are seeing, people like Tanya who walked into this, and we got her a great tagline, and now she is out there. She's so excited. She's telling everybody about it. People are asking her questions about her business because the brand and the positioning is just so sweet and so spot on, and it fits her personality so well that, I know she's going to be super successful. And we literally just finished this last week. So I got to this because I've always realized that I was better at the business than the creative side of things. I'm originally a trained photographer, and I came from Germany, and I learned in an aptitude test that I should have been a roofer because I like to be outside. I don't mind carrying weights, and I'm not afraid of heights, and I don't have vertigo. So this is kind of one of those things where you look at this aptitude test result and you go like, this kind of can't be real. And not that there's anything wrong with roofers, but I certainly didn't want to be one. So I wanted to be a creative, and I was told that being a creative was very, very difficult, but why didn't I choose to be a secretary instead? Now, I figured that other people's ideas of what I should be obviously doesn't apply to me because none of this really excited me. And I became a photographer anyway, only to find out that I like the business side behind photography a hell of a lot better than the creativity. But I love the creativity, and I love people that are creative. And I work with a lot of big thinkers and creatives and people with really fabulous, big, crazy ideas. And I can help them to put these ideas into words and articulate them and get those messages out nicely formulated and packaged into these signature growth systems. So that's just my superpower, my zone of genius. And then I was editor at Elle magazine in Germany, immigrated to the United States, fell in love, had a baby, only to find out that my ex-husband, who I divorced very quickly, was an alcoholic and a pathological liar. And I'm a single mom trying to figure out how in the world am I going to put a roof over my head in a massive recession, not unlike what we're experiencing right now, massive layoffs, very little jobs for people like me. What was I going to do? So I became an accidental entrepreneur. Over a decade, I fought my way as a single mom, immigrant, with a lot of really, really big adversity, fires, floods, riots, earthquake, a lawsuit, September 11th, and a tsunami, on how in the world was I going to get through this. And it wasn't small things. These were really big, life-threatening things. There was a moment where I fought this lawsuit because my key vendor got too close to my key employee. And then they had a plan on how to have a business just without me. I sued them both. Next thing I know, and I didn't know this, I was in a lawsuit against a huge insurance company, one of the largest insurance companies in the country. Me, lowly single mom out of Los Angeles trying to fight this big insurance company. But, we ended up settling eventually. But as I thought that I kind of, with all the debt that I was carrying because of the lawsuit, was having jobs on the book. I was a photography producer. September 11th came, and with that, my business was absolutely wiped out in 24 hours. I mean, there was just nothing to rebuild. It was just gone. And then the lawsuit settled. I ended up with literally zero. I mean, after I paid the lawyer, after I paid my debt, I had nothing left. So I had to start all over again. And I'm building the stock photography licensing business, and I have no money. So I'm going into debt at, $135,000. And then I'm borrowing money to pay interest on borrowed money. And as you probably all know, that is a terrible business strategy, and one certainly not recommendable, but I had to do what I had to do. And then there comes the day where you just can't borrow any more money to pay interest on borrowed money. And you better be figuring out who your bankruptcy attorney is going to be. I flew to Germany to drum up some business, and my dad had a stroke. My dad did not have a stroke. My father had pancreatic cancer. My father was my biggest fan, my supporter, my cheerleader, my go-to, my confidant. And then my father dies within 6 weeks. And if that wasn't bad enough, we are at the grave, at the funeral in Germany on money that I don't really have to go back and forth on these planes. And as we just put him in the ground, my phone rings. It's my office, and they're telling me that we've been served a notice and now we're losing the house. I'm completely broke. I'm just lost. My best friend, my worst case scenario has already happened. I fell to my knees. I raised my fist, I yelled at God, and I said, if you have a plan, this would be an absolute brilliant time to fill me in. And then I had to surrender because there really literally wasn't anything else I possibly could do. So once I surrendered, I flew back, and lo and behold, I get a letter from the White House. The White House letter was a letter that I wrote because my former mother-in-law literally just wouldn't stop talking about this. Write a letter to the president. He's your president too. So I wrote a letter to the president, so just I didn't have to have the conversation with her anymore. So now I get a letter from the White House. And this letter from the White House put me in touch with the Small Business Administration, with the deputy chief director. And I had a business plan that I had written. They helped me restructure that. And they found me a bank that was restructuring my debt in a 10-year fixed loan, freed up my line of credit. 3 months later, we are break even. 18 months later, we're the world leader in my category. This is how close sometimes it is. And then when we became the world leader, I got a phone call from a Bill Gates company that says, can you tell us how you do it? And I said, absolutely not. You want to buy it? They made me a multimillion-dollar offer, which I accepted. And that's how 18 months after the worst moment of my life, I became a self-made multimillionaire. So the reason I tell this story is not to tell you how great I am, but the reason I tell this story is because I want you to know that the adversity that I went through wasn't nothing. It was a lot. And it just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. And as we are going through the season, and we are this is, in Germany, we call this the quiet time, die Stadezeit, where we reflect a little bit more about what's happening, who we are. I want to really give this to you and encourage you to not give up hope wherever you are in your journey, and to think about that if a crazy woman from Germany can do this with no help, you can do this too. Because if I did it, there's a way. If there's a way, you can find that way. And then all you have to do is figure out which way that is, and then just go ahead and do this. So along the way, what I have really learned is that in order for you to get good at growing your business or getting it to this point, you got to be very clear on the systems and the processes and the strategies that you implement. because when we got the offer, we were absolutely ready. I did set up my business for acquisition. And I set it up in such a way that literally we handed over an SOP, a standard operational procedure manual, to our buyer. And we had naming conventions. Literally everything had a particular process, was very easy. Instead of a 1-year integration period, we did it in a record time of 6 months because we had set it up in such a way. So you have to think about this as you're growing your business, that what is it that you want to achieve? And then there's a moment of reflection of, what you need to do to grow this business. So what is holding you back? Is it fear? Is it money? Is it the time? Is it the learning curve? Is it the skill set? Or is it a false belief system that you think if you only were to do one more thing that you kind of could get there? So we believe that in order for you to get to this point to be successful, you really need to get the strategy, your system, and your authority, the client attraction system, in place. Because unless you have a signature growth system or your signature system or method or formula, whatever you want to call it, it is going to be very difficult for you to have a differentiation factor. So most of the time, clients don't know what their problem is. So if there's a mismatch between your language and their language, they're not going to buy. If you do a knowledge vomit, our term, which means that you want to take everything that you've ever learned and just vomit on them all at once, that's not going to work. You want to give them the pieces that are relevant to them and then tell them on how to lead them through their journey step by step by step. So once they have this thing, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? How do they graduate always to the next step? Clients want the pain that they have to go away quickly. So focus on that. I always give the example of the acupuncturist. So if I go to the acupuncturist and I have a migraine and the acupuncturist says to me, it's really a lower back problem, let's work on the lower back, I'm going to say, can we just please make this migraine go away and then you can work on the lower back? Because I don't want you to work on the cause of this while I'm in the middle of a crazy symptomatic moment. So that's what you need to think about as you're building your systems, is how do you help them to make the pain go away? How do you find the real issue? And then how do you guide them through the journey at terms that they can understand, that are relevant to them, and lead them through this? So a proprietary method, right? The signature piece. So I'm going to just spend a little bit more time on this to really explain to you why this is so critical in your business. And I just did a masterclass on this today. And if you're interested in this, we do free monthly masterclasses, and they're content driven. And we do make offers in these classes, so expect that. You go to yourbusinessmc.com, yourbusinessmc.com. You can start checking out what we do and learn some of the strategies that we're doing, in addition to being a listener to this podcast, which again, I appreciate very, very much. And just learn some of these things on how do you really build this business and drive it forward. We've done this thousands of times. We love it. We are no fuzz. I'm not 30. I'm not 40. I'm in my 50s. And my goal in life is to give you all the shortcuts to make it as clear and easy and followable, I guess if that is a word, as possible, so that you can take all the mistakes that I made and you don't have to make them, but you get to implementation and success a lot quicker. While we are on this, I am in the Entrepreneur Organization and an accelerator coach. And I'm very proud to say that, not just do I do this for a living, but I also mentor, I also give back, I also participate and help people I believe in, that I've worked in, to be successful. It's not always about money, because my impact is measured in the impact I make. So that's what matters to me. So I want to help you make a bigger impact. So what I see a lot, right, when we're talking about mistakes in business that you want to avoid, is you keep investing in all these micro programs and keep chasing trends without having a real strategy. And you get sidetracked with yet another thing that you have to add. And then You need to figure out how that fits into your overall system, which you don't have. So then it sounds like you're doing 10,000 different times. You constantly have to explain it, and people keep telling you, can't you just bloody pick a niche and then tell me what the niche is so you can get rich in the niche, which is what everybody says, and get on with it. But you don't want to do that because you have all this experience and you want to take people really on a client transformation journey and help them to take advantage of all these different things over a period of 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, because you have so much and it's cohesively put together, very much like what we do is all cohesively put together, that you want them to have a successful journey because you have actually developed a system, but you're going to have to tell them what that system is. And unless it's clear, they're not going to buy. So if you're not serving enough people, not making enough impact, not living up your potential, not making the revenue, then there is most likely you either don't have a strategy that you're following, you don't have a system that is unique, or you don't have a client attraction system that consistently brings you in the leads, because again, the messaging is unclear. So that is what I want to talk to you about today, is that I wanted to share some of the things that we do here at The Growth Architect and wish you a fantastic season. Again, thank you so much for being here, for believing in us, for learning the strategies. The premise of this show is very simple. I have a problem with people telling you that if you were to follow their one strategy from the latest guru, everything in life magically is going to fall into place. It is not true. What is true is that there are many people that are experts in a very narrowly defined field, and they are offering you one piece that will probably fit in very well, or could fit in well, into your overall strategy. But you need to have a strategy first to figure out if that piece even fits in there. If you don't have the overall strategy, you can do whatever you want. It is never going to fit because you don't even know if it does or if it doesn't. So you have to have a system in place to determine on whether or not that's going to help you or is going to hurt you. We determined to bring you strategy after strategy from some of the greatest experts in the field, people that oftentimes make millions and millions of dollars, have served tens of thousands of people, and some unknown people that have some brilliant ideas that I want to bring to you that have been a little bit overlooked, because I want you to see that there's so many strategies out there that you could implement in your business, that you can find the things that resonate with your personality type, that are interesting to you, that are aligned with your business, your vision, and where you want to go. And then you turn those on as your client attraction system. So that's how this works. But at any given time, you have a large strategy, an overall strategy, and smaller sub-strategies in place. And these sub-strategies change depending on where your business is. So our recommendation is pick 4 strategies a year, do 1 every quarter, and that way you consistently start working on some of the things that your business probably need to move forward. And that is it for me today. I wish you a wonderful holiday season. Thank you again. You're awesome. If you have any questions about business, I'm here for you. Reach out, look in the show notes. There's our contact form. You can reach us, and keep listening to The Growth Architect Show and share it with your friends. Thank you so much, and goodbye. And that's it for us today. Thank you for listening and watching the Business Growth Architect Show. I enjoyed having you here. And for accountability, just take one of the strategies that you have heard, one thing that you can implement in your business immediately. Please leave comments. Don't forget to like and share this show. And if you have any questions about business, please put them in the comments. We are here for you. We're here to support you and help you to grow, build, and scale your own business. For more advice, please check out our website in the show notes below. Thank you again. This is Beate Chelette, The Growth Architect, and goodbye.